get out a piece of paper. You'll have a bit of a little quiz to do. On your page, I have some things that are missing something in the middle. So a thing here with something missing in the middle. A thing here with something missing in the middle. These are not words. A set of things here and something missing in the middle. What might be missing in the middle if I was teaching this lesson? Think about what might be missing in the middle between those things. These things are their own discussion. These two are their own discussion. These two are their own discussion. These two are their own discussion. There's no relationship between here and here. No relationship between here and here. Here and here. Nope. This. What is missing in the middle? It's a mathematical symbol.
Not equal to.
Okay. Or the opposite. Or equal to. Okay. So I want you to draw these sets and put either an equal or a not equal. Okay? While you're doing that, I'll introduce you to Gail, my friend. She has joined our class at lesson 9. Is she brave? Yeah. She is brave. So that's what we were doing over here, was doing lesson 1 with her so that she could feel very smart and capable. So perhaps you'll get an opportunity to work with her as well and help her to begin to gain some confidence, because she thinks she doesn't have any, but she's doing fantastically well. So, okay, everybody got these down? And got an equals or a not equals in between them. Joseph doesn't have any paper. Write down on paper, Joseph. Okay, okay. And Gail, there's no way you would know these at all. I would not, there's no way you would know this, okay? If you're done those, give me a separate box and write me every letter that's a suffix letter that you've learned. There are a total of 5 of them, but we haven't learned all 5 yet.
Can you tell us how many we've learned?
No, I think you should put down what you think you know. And then over here is the big quiz of the day. I want you to put something boxes, okay? And remember, a something box is just a box representative of any letter, okay? So there's nothing in the something box. But underneath the something box will be fill in the blank with a Hebrew vowel, the transliterated name of the Hebrew vowel, and the sound that that Hebrew vowel makes. Last week we did a review of letters, and then we kind of talked about the vowels, so you had a little moment to rethink them. I want to see if you can call them to your mind. If you can't, that's okay. That's okay. But the more we challenge ourselves to think it and come up with it out of our own brain, the more we're actually learning it and not going, oh, yeah, when somebody shows it to you. Right. Student. If you could, are your glasses missing?
Yes.
Oh, well, come up here. You want Bob's readers?
Could you explain the blocks again?
These blocks? Yeah. Each one, the thing that I want you to write is what would go underneath of here. These are something boxes. Each one represents a vowel we know. Okay? So under each something box, I want you to put the Hebrew vowel, the symbol that represents the Hebrew vowel, the transliterated name of that Hebrew vowel, and the sound that you've learned to say with that Hebrew vowel. Okay?
They're all under it.
Yeah, put it.
All vowels that go under.
Yes, we know vowels for every one of those blocks. Different vowels for every one of those blocks. Don't laugh at them, Jerry. There was a day you didn't know these. When you were younger. When did you first start to learn Hebrew? 10 years ago. 10 years ago. I started learning Hebrew probably 27 years ago. And Jerry's light years ahead of me because he really worked at it. I took time out to raise 3 kids. He took time out to raise 2. See? I had a lot more work to do. Oh, ask her too?
No, that's the third
one. No, it's not. You're the third one, but she's let you think that she's the third child. But she's let you think that, yeah. Yeah, I know. Myra, I'm on you. Okay, everybody getting somewhere? Have you got these down? You do not have those down? Do you have them written down? Okay, all right. So what is this? No, it's not a good. It's what?
The V one.
A vav. A vav. Yeah, we learned that last week. So that's a new one. It's a vav. Okay.
This one is also a vav or no?
This one is not vav.
Oh, that's this one.
So what might it be?
It's not a final nun.
A final nun. Okay. So are they equal? No. So this is a nun safit.
I can see that.
Ooh, that's bad writing. That's really bad writing. Okay. And this is a vav, which, hooray, is a Scrabble word. I say those silly sorts of things because silliness makes me remember things. I learn better if I can laugh while I'm learning. I don't learn so well when people smack my knuckles. You know, so that concept of learning where I will lecture and I don't care what you get from it doesn't appeal to me. What appeals to me is to make it be fun. And if I can say something funny that helps me remember some little tidbit, yay. So, hey, there's a hole in there for the letter hey. It makes me laugh. So if it doesn't make you laugh, oh well. I'm the teacher. Letter. Dalet. How do we spell that? 1 L? Just 1 L. Not like my family name. Okay. All right. And this one is? It's a vav. Are they equal? No. But they look kind of the same, don't they? One of these vowels looks like the other. 3 of these things just do not belong. Whatever that song was. Remember that from Sesame Street? One of these things just doesn't belong. So for our eye to become discerning is a critical step in learning to read. That's true in any language. That's true in art. You have to be able to distinguish between aqua and blue, orange and red-orange. If you can't distinguish between colors, you have to learn a different way of coping in life. You know, if you happen to be one of those people that can't distinguish between certain shades of colors, the world laughs and you learn to laugh with it. But it's just a fact. You can't distinguish between those colors. But if you can, then that's a learning skill that preschool and kindergartners need to learn. They need to be able to pick up the pink crayon and know that its name is pink and to identify it not being yellow. And if they get to 3rd and 4th grade and they can't distinguish between blue and white, then we have a brain disconnect somewhere. So that's what we're learning to do when and we teach children to do that with letters first, with colors first, because color is easier than the shapes of letters. When they start to draw letters, we say we write, but in truth, they're drawing letters. And they have to be able to distinguish between the different shapes. And when a child is very young, the difference between this shape and this shape is next to impossible for their eye to discern. And some little ones get it like that. And many little ones don't get it for a while. And they may mix up various letters at various times. So that's what we're trying to make sure that you have an opportunity to train your eye to think about the fact of what you're doing. What have we got here? Bait. Yeah, how do we spell bait?
B-I-T.
Not B-I-T.
B-E-I.
Well, that's how we can pronounce it, but how do we spell it? Look in your book.
B-E-T.
B-E-T, right. She just learned that tonight. I'll let her shine on that one. Okay. How about this one? A vate. Not vet, not bet. Vate and bait. What's the difference between these two? A diacritical mark or a belly button, right? They both have this little protrusion out the back. They both are wider than a nun. You know, when we drew a nun, it had short little lines, right? But a bait and a vate have longer lines. Some people might draw them to look almost like a part of a square. Other people might not give them quite that much, but pretty much people give them a square shape, okay? It's not like if you made it a little short or a little long, it's going to be a different letter. It's not, okay? All right, bait and vate, what symbol do they get? Not equal. They're not the same thing. Your eye has to learn to discern between the two. What if the nun is a nun Sophie? That's a whole nother discussion. Good job, though. All right. What have we got down here? No, we don't have a nun and a nun Sophie. We have a vate. And we know it's a vate because it has no diacritical mark, but it looks like a bait that we've played with since the very first lesson. And we have a... No, it's not a nun Sophie. It does. It does. How would we know that that's not a nun Sophie? A nun Sophie would go below the line. And see how these are ending on the same space? Okay, so this is a vav. Makes the sound of v, makes the sound of v equal, okay, but look different. Why? I don't know. Spelling, probably. There's probably a good reason. Do you know that, Jerry, do you know the good, wait. I got criticized for not getting sound on the microphone. I'm doing it. Okay.
Okay. A vate at the beginning of the word can often be a conjunction and.
Okay.
Will be conjunction and. But a vate never will.
Ah. Remember how we put a hey at the beginning of Haggadah and we got the telling? We put a bait at the beginning of a word and we got in the house. Remember how we did that? Ba bait. Okay, so it was in the house. We're going to learn other ones also. The vav at the beginning of the word can be the word and. Marissa's saying, yep, because she's heard that before. And I had too, and I just forgot about it. The vet or vate will never be a conjunction. So, will we see a vate in the middle of the word? Yes. Will we see a vate, a vav in the middle of the word? Yes. Will we see a vate in the middle of the word? Yes. But if we see one of those at the beginning of the word, if it's in this shape, it might be the conjunction and. All of that makes you go, huh? What? Don't worry about it. It's one of those extra nifty things that's different from English. It takes the prepositional or the conjunctional word that you actually know a lot about, because you watched Conjunction Junction, what's your function, when you were little. Bob's looking at me like, no, I did not. We will teach you Schoolhouse Rock, Bob, we promise. Robin, you get on that. They have it at the library. You can learn all the songs this afternoon. Okay, so Safit letters. So the whole goal of this quiz was to condition, are we conditioning our eyes? Okay, we're conditioning our eyes to see the differences of similar things that we have learned. There are other similar things we've learned, but these have been the most recent, okay? What are the Safit letters that we've learned? The Mem Safit. Okay? What's another Safit letter that we've learned? The Nun Safit. Short and long. Okay? What's another one we've learned? Did we learn Sadi Safit?
Not yet. Sadi's not yet.
No.
So there is a Sadi.
There is a Sadi Safit. What other one have we learned?
Is the Uri? No.
Haha, we haven't learned any others. Trick jaw! Trick jaw! Okay, now comes the hard part.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a couple more minutes to work on this. Becky, what we're doing is putting a quiz for ourselves. We're filling in the blank under the box is empty, okay? It's a something box. We're putting a vowel underneath each of these blocks on our own paper, and then we're writing the name of the Hebrew vowel. We're writing the Hebrew vowel, what it looks like. We're writing the transliterated name of it, and we're putting the sound underneath, and we're going to see if we can learn, if we can remember all 8 that we have been introduced to. Yes.
What if one of them's within the box itself? Like that one, ooh or ooh.
There is none that is inside the box. There is none inside the box.
So they're all on the bottom.
So they're all on a box.
Or on the side.
One makes the.
Or on the side. Might be on the side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's not inside the box. Only the letter is inside the box.
Oh, so I just.
The letter is inside the box. So we could fill these boxes in with letters. One book I have does it always with an aleph. Another always does it with a bait. It does not matter what the letter is inside the box.
So 8 boxes and they have to do 1, 2.
So it doesn't matter what the letter is. We're looking for what different vowels can we put underneath of there. Don't say them out loud. Put them on your paper if you can. See how many you can put down on there. We're going to get to do art in a few minutes.
Yes.
That'll be exciting. Maybe it will be harder to do art than it is to do this. I don't know.
Probably. Okay, now this is when I go nuts. Okay. Oh wait.
Just put some that you know. If you don't know them all, you don't know them all. Maybe start with what was the first one we learned. Maybe you want to do them out of order. It does not matter. There is no special order that you have to know them.
This is where I'm messing. This is where I'm going.
That's okay. Just put what you know.
Back there, but I don't know what it's called. But I know
What color shall I do it? Can you see blue? Does blue show up on the back?
I think so.
This was one of the first ones that we learned.
Patak.
Patak. You learned that one tonight. Okay? All right. How did you spell Patak? Yeah. Doesn't matter how you spell it all that much because you'll run into somebody else who spells it differently. You'll run into most people that never spell it at all. You know, they just, that's what that is. Or it's that one that looks like that, and they don't even try to pronounce it. You guys are light years ahead of most adult beginning Hebrew readers, because I insist that we learn the vowels so we can talk with vocabulary to each other. Because then I can tell you how to spell something correctly, if I know, or if I'm looking in my book, okay? All right, so the name of it is patak. And its sound is ah. This one is called and it looks like it kind of looks like a T, but try really hard not to call it a T thingy. So it does have a line, and it has a short space underneath of it, a short line underneath of it. That can come out looking like a dot. It's that short.
Really?
Yes. Okay? But it does not look like the patak. You can tell the difference between a patak, and it looks like a patak, but it's not quite the same. Right, kamats. When you have Hebrew printed in a text with the vowels, everything is pretty tight and usually pretty small. So your kamats is going to end up being fairly small. But what sound does kamats make? Ah, it's so difficult because it's so different from the patak. Exactly the same sound. Is it possible to distinguish between a kamats ah and a patak ah?
Wasn't the one supposed to be?
If you are a sabra, who knows what a sabra is? Someone born and raised in the nation of Israel today. So only a few generations can that apply to.
Doesn't the kamats go a little bit slightly longer than that?
We're not, all we're going to say is if you're a sabra, meaning you were born and raised in the modern nation of Israel today, you can probably distinguish between those two sounds. And you probably don't expect anybody else to. Okay? So I don't want you to worry anything at all about distinguishing between those sounds. You get a pass on trying to learn the difference between them. Now, if you make Aliyah and you go to live in Israel, that might be a goal when you're in Hebrew class. Because if you make Aliyah and you go to Israel and you set yourself up to start to live there, you'll go to Hebrew class for the first 6 months. They'll pay you to go. And that's all you do for 6 months, as you don't talk English no more. Okay? All right. So here's one that says Harik. H-I-R-E-Q. Thank you, Becky. You knew what I needed. And what's it look like? A dot. It's a little bigger than a period would be typically in print.
Oh, that's a Q, honey. Oh, that's a Q?
Did you think that was an 8?
No, she thought it was a G.
Oh, let me do it better. She thought that was a G, but it's a Q. Is that better? Okay. I'm trying to do something tonight that I need your help on, and that's every time somebody makes a comment out there that has relevance, I'm trying to repeat what they say, because when they are listening on YouTube, they don't know what you said, and then we're all laughing or talking about it and making reference to it, and they're completely lost. And I've been a victim of that myself when I've watched things on film, so I'm trying, I'm not very good at it, but our cameraman Dale says that I was doing real good till the break. So we're retraining me now. All right. What's another vowel? Becky.
Patak, patak?
Hatak, patak. What's it look like? Anybody?
A line.
A line?
I mean, a line with something that looks like a colon.
Yes.
Looks like a patak with something that looks like a backwards.
two-word vowel. More words to the vowel than to symbolize it, right?
Yeah.
Hatak patak. And it is, and it also makes the ah sound, yeah. And it is two vowels put together. When we first learned hatak patak, I didn't tell you that it was two vowels put together, okay? But you can see that it is a line like the patak, and it has the colon shape that the new vowel that we learned last week has also, and they're just side by side. They're not connected, okay? But the new vowel we learned was not called a hatak, so that's confusing too. So this one's called a hatak patak. And you have a vowel page that we gave you near the beginning. If you need another one of those, we can help you get another copy of that probably, okay? What's another vowel that we've learned? A what? A shrek yud. Okay, so shrek.
That's the name of that's the
Shrek yud. Okay. So that has a long name. S-H-R-E-Q. And then yud. Y-O-D?
Y-U-D.
Y-U-D.
Y'all have your big hand.
Yes, I know. Thank you. Okay. I have a terrible time with spelling in English, let alone spelling transliterated English into Hebrew. Okay. So this has two symbols also. Remember that we have the shrek, which can stand by itself. That's a clue for another vowel that we're going to come up on. But this one has a yud following that is a letter. Yud is a letter. But when it has no vowel underneath of it, it connects to the vowel before it. And we see that several different times. Okay? All right, so shrek yud says what sound? Ooey, like ooey gooey.
So question.
Yes.
All right, that shrek yud right there.
Uh-huh.
That line thingy with the dot there. That's just one, I mean, like the shrek itself.
The shrek itself is the dot and the shape at the same time.
So that makes a vowel, so it's not necessarily a vav with the...
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So I'm trying to figure out, okay.
And later we'll make a distinguishing, you'll see something happens that helps to make sure that stays clear, okay? I think I know where your thinking is going, but I don't want to get it on the tape yet because that's not what we're doing tonight.
Okay.
Okay. Next one.
Shrek.
Shrek, all right? So Shrek sounds just like the green monster. The green, the green ogre from the children's television show, and it was great Broadway musical, really good, okay? And its name is just the Shrek. Now, this one's called Shrek Yud because it has a Yud after the Shrek. This one's called just a Shrek because it doesn't have a Yud. When you see that Yud can follow vowels, it gets a little easier to understand why there are this many named vowels, okay? It's like saying we have this vowel in English, but if we do this, now we have a whole nother vowel. Well, we don't have that in English. But it's not that hard to understand that if we have one of these and we have a that beside it, it's a whole nother vowel. That's what we're doing in Hebrew, okay? But we don't have that in English, so hooray for us. What do we do in English? We put an A and an E beside each other.
Yeah.
We put an A and an I and an E beside the three of them, and then we make a different sound. We what was it you called the German sound? An umlaut, an umlaut. You have to learn what those symbols do to letters. In Hebrew, we do these things with letters. Oh, well, that's... Or English puts an O-U-G-H together and does 6 different sounds. Thank you, the people that invented English. Okay, another one. Shva.
That's the one I
Ooh, schwa. What's it look like? Like a dot dot like this?
No.
No, okay.
Is that the silent one?
And its name is SHVA. Schwa. Okay. And you've only learned one sound for it. Right now, you've learned one sound. You will learn something else, but right now, it's like an aleph. It's there for a reason, but it makes no noise.
Syllable placement.
Syllable placement. When you start to learn English, you have to learn that brother has two sounds. Brother. Mother. Father. So you learn thir, and then you put all these other things in front of it, and you get 3 different words, and you go, I read a story about my family. Okay? And you're really proud when you're little, when you're just starting to learn, or if you speak another language and you come in, I can do that. Yay me. Okay? So.
I'm going to put the sound of the Shrek.
Oh, I didn't put what is the sound of the Shrek?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Kind of like when you say something bad to your teacher.
But not ooey. Don't put your ooey with me. Okay. So right now, schwa has no sound.
So you're
Okay.
saying that there will be one.
There will be a different placement of the schwa, and it will have a sound, and you'll like it.
I'll like it.
You'll like it. Another one. What? Harik Yud. What's it look like?
It's
just
a dot with a yud.
A dot with a yud.
On the
Uh-huh. Okay. And it's called a harik. I have to look up H-I-R-E-Q. Yud. Okay. So that's really fantastic. Give yourself a little note on the top of your page. Did you remember all of them by yourself? Did you remember some of them?
Yeah.
Did you remember, we have 8 there. How many people remembered 8?
Nope.
Good. How many people remembered 7? Good. How many people remembered 6? Good. How about 5?
With the name as well as the sound, or just the
All of it. All of it. How about 3? How about 2?
yeah.
Okay. Oh, see? Gail, first lesson tonight, and she got to them. How about 1? Did anybody feel so completely uncomfortable they didn't know the name of any of them? They didn't know any sounds. You just felt completely lost. Anybody feel completely lost? Because if you did, I want to respect that and I want to help you. Good. Okay. All right. So.
What sound?
You did. What's that?
What sound?
Oh. The harik yud, sorry. A long E sound. I'm going to put it down here. An extra long E sound, E, instead of just E. There's a short, but it makes a sound like a long E in English. That's just the harik. E.
Okay.
E. The same way here we have oo and ooey. A little bit longer, okay? Contextually, you'll see how it works as you become more fluent in reading Hebrew, okay? Not to worry about it, just to learn it right now, okay? Pam, I'm going to get you to come up and finish that erasing so I can move on to what we're doing here, if you would, please. Okay.
Are we on lesson 9 or 10?
We're in lesson 9 still. Lesson 9 is at least a 2-week lesson.
That's cool.
Jerry, when your reading group was reading last week, are they getting the idea of the schwa?
Yes, and that was something that I had to look up because the font in the book is different than what you're drawing
Okay.
for the patak.
Okay. So what Jerry's saying is the font in the book is different from what I've been drawing on the board. Is it radically different?
Not radically different, but it looks like a schwa with a top.
It looks like a schwa with potato. You want to come up and show what you were finding, because I don't want to confuse people further. but I want to make sure that we don't provide a problem.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oops, that's not gonna work. That will. Okay. That's typically how we see the patak, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, in your book, the font is drawn like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, wait, what? Yeah. Okay.
Now, you will eventually, if you keep this up long enough, see that. That's totally different. You don't need to know that right now. But just be aware that font differences are font differences. It's all in, do you draw, some people draw an ein like a backwards Y.
They haven't learned that letter yet. Here's an English letter that people draw differently.
Some people draw an A with a point on top. Some people draw an A with a round top.
The correct way.
Some people try to read my handwriting. Good luck with that. But just, it's font difference. And I knew I had seen this, and I'm like, that's a letter. Yes?
So this word that we read last week is not a schwa and a vowel together. It's just a font.
It's just a font difference. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Because my name is Joan, I had to learn a font difference. Oh my, I did struggle. I can remember well in class, I was probably first, second, third grade, something like that, and they were drawing our initials on the board and we were supposed to trade seats, teaching us to recognize our own initials. And they drew mine like that, which was completely wrong. So I didn't get up out of my seat because nobody drew my initial. My mother wrote it like this. I was well into adulthood before I found out that this is a correct English J and not this one.
Really? What J is that?
It's a stylized J that somebody came up with. So I changed my handwriting and went to this one.
Yeah, we did the one.
And yeah, somebody taught somebody something sometime, but the correct English style of truly writing the letter J is taught like this.
I learned that one, Joan.
Wait a minute. Jerry has a funny. What, Jerry?
J's only been around 400 years anyway. It doesn't matter.
Oh, J's only been around 400 years anyway. It doesn't matter, says Jerry. Gail.
Yeah, I learned that down south that without the top on it, that was a small letter.
Ah, see, I learned without the top on it. It had to have a dot, though, to be a small letter. So, see, everyone's wrong unless their name starts with J, and then we will decide. If your name starts with a J, we'll get together, and we will decide. Jill and I, and who else? Jill and me, and we. Oh, you just are a mess. So, okay, and Judy, we will have a meeting, and we will settle it.
What about those of us with the surname J?
No, you don't count.
Okay, I love you.
Actually, of course you count, but
It's a small case J. It has a dot.
yes.
Okay.
I think that is undisputed.
Okay.
That in English, the lowercase J always has a dot, and an uppercase J never does. Just as the letter I has a dot instead of. Some people write an uppercase I like that, and most people now write it like that because your computer writes it like that, and too bad for you if you think it's an L. Context again. You're reading it and you go, ooh, an L by itself, that's not a word. Okay, must be an I. Okay, so we digress. We do digress. Back on track. Okay. All right, so what I wanted to confirm, and I had spoken with Pam earlier, that everybody in our reading groups was doing extremely well. Mine, Jerry's, and Pam's were all reading the Shva very, very well. So is there anyone who's feeling like, I have no idea what you're talking about, I don't remember what you told me about the Shva, other than Gail, who's never heard about a Shva before tonight? Is there anybody who feels like, I have no idea what you're talking about? Good. Okay, so we are going to skip over the reading page on page 64 because we've done a lot of other things tonight, and we will come back to doing that, okay? But we did mention it last week. We looked at the cool Hebrew word of Hatikva, the national anthem, okay? If you weren't here and didn't get a chance to hear it, it's online. You can just plug that into YouTube and listen to Hatikva. Somebody had said to me that they couldn't hear it when we played it on the phone, and I didn't run over and put the microphone, you know, from here. But I'm so glad that Dale is able to find those little slip-ups that I make, and he's filled them into the video. So if you hear people saying, I don't know, they won't have it, Dale is on it. He's doing a wonderful job for us. Yay, Dale. Turn the camera around, Dale, one time to your face. Okay, Dale's not going to do that. Okay. I was watching something the other day, no, it was today, and the cameraman was being addressed, and so he just nodded the camera up and down, yes. So, all right, so we're gonna move on a little bit and move on to page 65. And there we have a thing. What is that thing? Anybody know the name of that thing? That picture?
The thing.
The thing. It's not called a thing, but it holds spices. Is that correct? Yeah. And I'm actually not sure of the name at the moment. Do you know the name of it? A what?
It's a $100 box.
A Havdalah box. That's not the money box. That's the Tazikia box. Okay. The Havdalah box holds spices. Rabbinical tradition, non-biblical, but rabbinical tradition says when Shabbat comes and we're going to rest, we need a point in time when it isn't Shabbat, it isn't Shabbat, it isn't Shabbat, it isn't yet Shabbat, it isn't yet Shabbat, it's Shabbat. And we have to have a specific point in time when it's Shabbat, it's Shabbat, it's Shabbat, it's Shabbat. We're not allowed to work, not allowed to work, not allowed to work. Bingo! We're back into the regular week. We've ended Shabbat. Some people say that like saying goodbye to Shabbat, ending Shabbat. So there are rabbinic traditions that go with that. Some of those rabbinic traditions say that we should use all 5 of our senses to experience Shabbat arriving and Shabbat departing. So we don't have anything to sniff. We can sniff the dinner cooking as Shabbat arrives, I suppose. But as it leaves, we need something to sniff. So we get the Havdalah box. With Havdalah. So, how do I spell it?
Is that what's up at the top?
Probably.
Because it looks like it's like a mitzvah.
Is that how they spelled it?
Right? No, Havdalah? Wait. Should there be an wait, Havdalah, right? Is it a Havdalah?
Look at it in Hebrew.
Because the 2 dots means that it's not Havdalah.
So let's read it. Let's read it. Out here, there's nothing out here, right?
Right.
Say. Ha.
No, wait.
Va. Hav. 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 Stop. Hav. Dala.
Question.
Yes.
The ha in the beginning, does that mean the?
Yes. Yes. No. No.
Because I wondered, because it has that syllable that stops everything. That's why I wondered, like, so does have mean something special?
No. It's just the spelling of the word. And it is a spice box.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to.
Specific to Shabbat. Okay, so it's fancy, it's decorative. You can have a plain one, you can have a fancy one. It's a spice box. What they would like you to do in that picture is to write the two symbols for the V sound, okay, the two letters that have the V sound, and then they would like you to circle each letter on the Havdalah box, the letter itself, not the word, the letter itself that makes the V sound. Okay?
Wait, what?
So on the Havdalah box, on the box, find each V sound. Because we know there are two different letters that make the V sound.
Somewhere.
So if each, looking at each word written on the Havdalah box, if it has a V sound in it, circle the V sounding letter. Okay? And if you do that real quick, you can also practice writing some V sounding letters. There are two letters that make the V sound. Try to talk inside your own head so that other people can talk inside theirs.
I'm sorry. So are these literal words in this box?
Yes, probably. But again, don't worry about that. You're just looking for the V sound. Right?
Yeah.
Just look for the, don't circle the whole word. Circle just the V sound.
Gosh.
Anybody confused?
Oh, crud. I don't, kind of. So I just should look for the letters.
Yep.
What if I, okay. One,
I count 12. But sometimes the book misses one, so I haven't studied it. Let me look. Ooh, I think I agree with the book. I agree with the book. 12 of them. 12. Is that what you found, Paulette? Paulette or Pauline?
Paulette.
Paulette. Ooh, I got it. I got it. I wasn't sure, but I got it. I want you to correct me if I don't say it right. So if people call me Joanne, it's not my name. Even if you put that thingy on top of the J, it's still not my name. Okay, you finding them?
I'm finding some, I think.
Joseph will come help you. Huh? Yeah.
I get 11.
You found 11? Everybody finding 12? Good.
I'm looking.
Anybody not find 12?
I'm still in the middle of looking.
Okay.
Okay, oh, here's one. Yeah, I think I wrote
If you need to, always, always, always feel free to turn back in your book to see where we first met that letter. Never be afraid to go back to your resources and your reference charts. As you work more with it, you need the reference chart less.
Right? This one person, this is a person.
Okay. But did you find 12?
I'm still looking.
Okay.
I was just so excited to find somebody's name.
You can come back to that if you need to, because I need to make sure that we have some time for some special things that are going to happen tonight, okay? So let's look at page 66.
I got 10. What's wrong with me?
Well, you can come back to it, okay? Let's look at page 66. And let's look at the first picture. What would that first picture be of? What is the picture of? Wine or a cup, right? So I'm checking to see if you're reading in Hebrew or if you're reading in English. Because if you're reading in English, you're going to say the first picture is of a candle. But I want you to read in Hebrew. So the first picture is a picture of a cup, right? Okay. So what we're trying to write under there is the key word at the top of the page. See the key word? Look at the key word at the top of page 66. Havdalah. Havdalah. And Havdalah, if we translate it, Havdalah is a thing, a Havdalah candle. Havdalah means separation. It means to come right up to that point of saying, it's not Shabbat, it's not Shabbat, it's not Shabbat, boom, it's Shabbat. Over there, it's not Shabbat. Over here, it is Shabbat. Okay? Or, it's Shabbat, it's Shabbat, it's Shabbat, I can't work, I need to rest, I need to do the rules, I need to follow. Oh, bingo, 3 stars in the sky, I'm loose. And believe me, most children feel that way. I'm loose, I'm free. Okay? If you think about the old traditional way that Sundays used to be perceived in America, you can't cut paper, you can't go to the movies, you can't play cards, you can't talk above a whisper, you can't play with your train, you can't. All kinds of can'ts. And if the minister was coming to your house, you super couldn't, right? Now, that wasn't how it was in my house. Maybe it was never in most houses, but that's a stylized or story form of portraying the Sabbath or Sunday worship day in 1800s America. Maybe before that as well, but certainly 1800s America. You couldn't buy liquor on Sunday. You could buy it on Saturday, but you couldn't buy it on Sundays. All these rules of how to handle Sunday being the Sabbath. That absolutely comes from biblical teaching. Remember the Sabbath day. Now it gets all screwed around with which day it is and what the rules are and who makes the rules and who's going to do what about what rules. And that's too big a discussion for this moment. But if you think about that, most of us know that story concept of Sunday being set aside. If you are raised or if you begin to embrace Torah learning, which most Jews are raised with at least this much Torah learning, that Sabbath is a thing. It's a thing, and you have to remember it. You don't get a choice. You have to remember it. So whether it's because they all say, good Sabbath to you, or whether it's because in your family, nobody plays cards, nobody goes to the movies, nobody cooks, these are the rules on Sabbath. If you've seen Fiddler on the Roof, there's a real good Broadway presentation of get ready, it's coming, get ready, here it comes, bing, boom, it hits. If you look at a calendar, did Pam give you a calendar? If you look at a calendar designed today for today's modern Jewish community, where there are always going to be some Orthodox Jews who feel that you must stick absolutely to these rabbinical determinations, This one doesn't have it. It will give a time at 5:03 p.m. Sabbath has begun, not 5:02, and certainly not 5:04. 5:03 is when it begins, so that you can be a zealot, okay? So, all of that to say what? To set aside Sabbath was a crucial thing. Havdalah is the separation and coming apart from Sabbath. To an Orthodox family, it's a critical moment of departure from Sabbath. And in departing from Sabbath, we leave it behind with 5 senses. So we smell the spices from the Havdalah box. We see the flame from the Havdalah candle. We taste the wine as we say goodbye. We hear, what do we hear? The prayers. We hear the prayers being said, and then we smell the spices, see the flame, hear the prayers, taste the wine, and feel. Oh, we feel the heat from the flame. We feel the heat from the flame. Yep, from the candle. Okay. So now the next picture is of 2 candles. Are they part of Havdalah? Nope, they're part of the beginning of Sabbath. Okay. How about the next one? Yes, the Havdalah box, right?
So is the wine part of the Havdalah?
Yes.
What's the difference between the candles in the beginning of it and the wine? Is that during it? So the candles.
The wine, you say the Kiddush again at the end.
Okay.
And see, if you've been raised in that tradition and you're a 3rd grader in this class, you would know all those symbols. If this was an Orthodox community, okay, and in 2nd grade, you were not allowed to come to Hebrew school. And now that you are 3rd grade, you can come to Hebrew school. And you've now been raised for 8 years doing all of these things absolutely because you live in an Orthodox community. If you grew up in an Episcopal church, like I did, you probably don't know any of those things, you know? But this book is written to Jewish children who are beginning Hebrew school. And so some of the things in here are an assumption that they absolutely know that we eat fish or that we have a Havdalah box. You know, things that I might not know at all if I hadn't learned those things. All right, the 4th picture is of a 3-braided candle. Okay? You know the scripture that says that a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's where they got the idea of the 3-braided Havdalah, because they're not going to tell you that's Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. We'll just keep that on the down low. Okay? But that's a Havdalah candle. It's a 3-braided candle. Okay? The next picture is of some other words. Our other key word is a mitzvah. And we talked quite a bit, didn't we, last time about mitzvah being a duty, a command, an instruction to keep. The bar mitzvah is a boy who says, I am choosing to be a son of the commandments. I now embrace and take upon myself the desire to follow God's laws. It's no longer my father and my mother's responsibility. I am learning and I am embracing. And so he spends a full year studying, not only to read Hebrew fluently, but that's supposedly the goal, but he also learns what his responsibilities are as a man in Judaism. A bat mitzvah is a girl who does the same thing. In today's traditional style, a girl also studies and learns. Not originally, but I don't think there's anything wrong with a girl saying, I too am going to take on the responsibilities of a woman who wants to please God's heart. Okay? So, that's a mitzvah. But mitzvah can mean a lot of other things. Mitzvah is, if you're crying, to offer compassion. Mitzvah can be, it's a commanded holiday. I should celebrate it. Whether that means that I cry out in repentance at Yom Kippur, or that I celebrate at Shavuot. I'm commanded to keep holidays. It's not a, if you want to celebrate my birthday, you can come over. It's not that kind of holiday. It's not a Jewish holiday. It's a God holiday. It's God's appointed times that he pulled out and said, remember this. And do more than remember, Jill. Make sure that you communicate to your children that it is their duty, their mitzvah, to tell their children, 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 to tell their children. It is their job. If they do nothing else in life, they must communicate this duty to do what's right in God's eyes. That's an awesome thing. Mm-hmm. But you know what? If we give that to our children, they have an opportunity to be faithful people. They may express it in a number of different ways, but they have an opportunity. But if we go, oh, there was an old John Denver song that said, raise them on peaches and let them find Jesus on their own. What? Well, my grandparents raised their children because they couldn't agree on which religion to raise them in, Quaker or Lutheran. What shall we do, Quaker or Lutheran? They absolutely couldn't agree. We'll not teach them anything. They can decide on their own.
Oh, that's sad.
So my mother and my uncle were raised with no religion at all. My father was raised in a cult because they're going to implant in him. How did my parents get together? I don't know. But in the scripture, it gives us an instruction of how to take care of this. And mitzvah is one of those concepts that's not a scriptural command. It's a concept. Mitzvah means to do good, to do good, to do what's right. Now, what's right could be a little hairy at times, you know, but generally, generally you could say that to follow the 10 Commandments is fairly easy because we sort of communicate those rules without ever teaching them. Pretty much everybody knows that you don't kill somebody else. Pretty much. Pretty much everybody knows that if you own it, I shouldn't take it. It's an inherent cultural teaching. And in Judaism, mitzvah is an inherent cultural teaching. A lot of people would call it good Jewish guilt. Roman Catholics are particularly good at good Catholic guilt. You put a good Jew and a good Catholic together and you've got a really good guilt sandwich. But instead of thinking of it as a guilt, you can think of it as a duty, a job, a responsibility. Okay? So in our pictures down there, we have visiting the sick. Is that a mitzvah?
Yes.
Yes. Putting money in a tzatziki box. Yes. Money for the poor. Yes. That's a mitzvah. Lighting the candles.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a mitzvah. Worshiping idols. No. Okay, so write mitzvah in those places where mitzvah belongs. And then you can pick a colored pencil.
Oh, nice.
It's time to do art. Gail, you probably don't want to do this yet. You already did it.
Wait a minute, I'm just looking for.
Oh, she has to get picky.
Well, I can't help.
Because she likes purple. You're good. Okay. Take a pencil and pass it down, maybe. Take one down and pass it down.
Okay.
I do need all these back later because I borrowed these pencils. So don't tuck them in your stuff. When you're coloring in, I don't care if you use more than one color, if we have enough pencils, okay? But when you're coloring in, don't color in so dark that you can't see the letters in the box. Okay? So just color lightly. All right, and what we're trying to color now, it's saying to use different colors for the different sounds, and you can certainly do that, but you can also use the same color. Okay, But you can pass the pencils around. I think it's saying to use 4 different colors, and I just don't have that many pencils. Oh, you brought more pencils. Ooh, okay. All right. So I don't care what letter, what color you use. Just make a notation on your book what color you did each of those letters. Maybe make one lighter and one darker or something like that.
So what are we, okay, so.
Okay, so you're going to make the spaces in the text, in the drawing, okay? If something has a V sound, you're going to make that blue. If something has a R sound, you're going to make it red. But I don't care what letter, what color you use. Put your color that you're going to use, okay? If it has, what is that? What letter is that? I can't even see that in here. A yud?
Y sound.
Oh, or Y sound. Okay. So if it has a Y sound, make it yellow. And if it has an N sound, a N sound, make it green. So I don't care what color you do it, just do it in something, you know, but put a color key next to it, you know, where it says those colors in our book. You write what you're doing yours in. Okay? So it's just a little fun art project that you can take a minute to do.
I should have brought my pencils.
Yes. For those on the microphone, Myra's saying you can use different patterns with the one color if you want to.
That's a great idea.
So you can write diagonal lines or vertical lines or horizontal lines or dot lines, lighter and darker. Oh, Myra, she's going to give us art lessons.
Inside the box. Very good.
Okay. And we are going to come back to our next pages in a few minutes. Because Pam, are you also going to present a paleo word? Not tonight. Okay. So Pam has a wonderful study tidbit for you. So while you're coloring, is that okay, Pam? Can they be coloring while they listen to you? We only have about 6 minutes left on our scheduled time, so if we don't get through this, we can do some more because it's going to take us a third week to finish lesson 9. They warned us it was going to take 2. Sometimes it takes more than that, okay? But these words, I think you'll have a lot of fun with this, okay? These words are called cognate words. These are cognates.
What does that mean?
What's a cognate? A cognate is a word that spaghetti is a cognate word. It's an Italian word, but we use it in America like it's an English word. Piñata. Probably everybody knows what a piñata is, yet I don't speak very much Spanish, but I know what a piñata is. I can't necessarily translate what a piñata is, but I know what a piñata is. Okay? So, what's that? Halloween. Let's not go there. But there are lots of words that move between languages. Okay? And all of these words, some you will recognize and some you may not. Okay? But they're all in your book. Okay? So we're going to page 68. And what we're going to try and do is match 2 halves of the word. So it's not super easy, but the word is not written in its entirety on either column. But we can match 2 parts and come up with a word, all right? So let's not start with Hungarian. That's a little bit harder, okay? Let's start at the very bottom. A spring month. Let's say the name of a spring month in English. April. You want to say April? Okay. What's another spring month?
May.
May. Okay. I'll give you a clue. It's either April or May. Okay. That make it easier for us. Okay. All right. So let's look down the first column and see if any of those sets of letters that are going down that first part of the column. Let me undoor your book just for a second. That are going down on this side of the Havdalah candle. the Hebrew side, right? Not the English side, right? If we're reading in Hebrew, we're going to work on this side. Find one that starts the sound of either April or May.
Can it sound like Avril, or does it have to be
April. How about April or May?
the fifth one down?
The fifth one down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That says meets.
The last one.
The last one? Last one says up. Ooh, up. Up. That sounds sort of like April, doesn't it? So let's see if we can find something in the other side of the Havdalah candle that'll finish the word April. We have the up. Go ahead.
The one on top.
The one on top. So do you see the Resh
Yes.
with the Harik underneath? And a Yud with nothing underneath, okay? And a Lamed, okay? So we take the bottom one. And we have right? Up with a shva underneath. Remember, that finishes a syllable. Okay? And if we connect it, we get a resh with a harik underneath, a yud, and a lamed. April. April. Now, if I say it April, or if I say it April, and you say, oh, you have an accent, you're so cute, right? Okay. But you can still sort of hear that word, April. It's going to happen in April. Oh, is it okay? You're so cute. All right. So it's a cognate word that it works in English or in Hebrew. So let's think about what word might this be. Lunch outside. A picnic. Let's see if we can find something that starts the sound of pick.
The second one.
The second one down. Okay, so second one down we have, what letter is that? A pay with a harik.
Harik Yud.
Harik yud. Okay, and then what? A kuf.
With the, I forget what it is.
The shva. Okay, so what's this saying? Peak. Peak. Okay, so where's neek? The third one down on the other side. Okay, and there we have a what? A nun, and it's all part of the same word, right? Okay, the kuf goes a little longer. Remember, it's a hang-you-down letter. So we have a nun.
These real words there.
Yep. These are real words now. We're dealing real words. They're cognate words, okay? So what's our next letter? A harik underneath, and a yud, and a kuf. So this is all one word, okay?
The 1 week.
This is a peak. Stop. Peak. Stop. Picnic. A picnic. It's a cognate word. Want to go for a picnic? Oh, I'd love to go for a picnic. Why do you say that's so funny? Okay? We learned this word tonight, separation. Havdalah. Okay? So now that's a word you recognize in Hebrew. To Jewish people, Havdalah is definitely a cognate word.
So
To my Gentile mind, maybe it isn't. Maybe I don't say Havdalah meaning separation. But this book is being addressed to children who are American Jewish children. So they're going to know Havdalah. It's going to be a cognate word to them. So let's see if we can find Havdalah. Have a second one down. We have a what?
We have a dalet. Because, well, the third, okay, for the first part of it, it's the third one down. So you want to start it from the beginning of the word?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. It's a hay.
A hay.
It's a hay with the top underneath it.
Okay.
With the shva under it.
with a shva.
It's a vate.
Okay. Where are you?
So, okay, separation is the ha with the patak, then the vav with the shva.
It's a babe, it's the other.
Third one down. Okay. A vate. Not a vav.
Did I say vav?
Yep.
Sorry, I meant vate. Sorry.
A vav with a shva.
With the shva underneath it.
Okay.
And then it's like that second step.
Okay. So what letter?
Dalet
Dalet.
with a kamatz underneath it. Then a lamed with kamatz. And then a hay with nothing. Baby.
Okay. Hav. Stop. Hav. Dala. Havdala. Cognate words. Something for your hair. Shampoo. Can you find the beginning of shampoo?
Yeah, it's right beside it's the shin.
A shin.
So the shin with the patak underneath it. Then it has the mave with the mem with the shva underneath it. And then Rick said,
Wait a minute, you're going faster than people are ready to hear.
well, Rick had the rest of the word.
Okay. All right.
Which one was it? Did you say fifth word, fifth bunch of letters down?
Sham. What are we missing here? A shva.
Shva.
That's how we get the syllable. Sham. Now what? A pay.
And then the ooh, Shrek. What is that? Yeah, the Shrek. So, yeah, thank you.
Does it end with that?
Yeah, because it ends with that because it makes the ooh sound. The shampoo is a Shrek with the shampoo.
Okay. So where are we on the list?
We are now at a command. With
No. As we go down, where's poo? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is probably the first example that we've run into that has a vowel ending the word. That's necessary because we're dealing with cognates. We have to get that sound. I don't know of any other reason that we're putting vowels at the end of a word, because typically in Hebrew, there is not a vowel at the end of a word. But to get the word shampoo, we don't want shampoo off, right?
yeah.
Jerry, you're looking confused. Eloheka. That ends with a hey.
Hey, no, the end.
No? Okay. We'll find other examples, but it's less common. We'll agree on that. It's very much less common to end with a vowel. But in a cognate, it frequently does, because we're trying to get a sound. We're not trying to spell a word correctly in Hebrew. We're trying to get a sound to come out, okay? How about Hungarian, a language? Can you find something that sounds like maybe, or shall we leave that one because we can do it by process of elimination?
They already did it in the book.
Oh, they already did it in the book. Okay. So which one is Hungarian?
The first one and the bottom one.
Okay. So what letter?
Okay. Shrek. None. Then you go down. It's a gimel with a kamatz. Then it's a resh with a harik. Oh wait, we know the harikud.
Okay.
And then you've got your tav.
Tav. Do you see how you're spelling with vowels? And I know what to write because you're spelling with vowels. You're better than most Israelis, because they are not going to do that. All right. How about a commandment? We've talked about that tonight.
Mitzvah.
A mitzvah. So what letters?
Mem.
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 With the harik underneath it.
Yeah.
Zadi.
Then a tzadi. With the shva.
Okay.
Then the second half of the word is 1, 2, 3, 4 down. Vav. With the kamat No, yeah, Kamatz, yeah. And then, hey, no.
Stop doing the hey nani nanis.
I'm sorry.
You're wrong. Don't put a hey nani nani in there or I'll go march you wrong spelling.
I shouldn't keep watching the Marx Brothers, I'm sorry.
No, you shouldn't. Okay.
And hey.
And a hey.
Hey.
And let's say it. Meat. Meat. Va. Okay.
Jew.
Okay. The first Jew was who?
Well,
Not the Hungarian.
okay.
The first Jew was not the Hungarian.
I want to say Abraham.
If you want to say Abraham, can you find the beginning of his name from a...
It's right there. So it's which is right
Okay.
there.
Is anybody else going to tell me besides Becky, or are you all going to lean on Becky tonight?
No, they're on me. I'm
Okay.
listening to other people, too. It's all good. Rick's got a bunch of stuff back there.
Okay.
Colette.
Rick has left the building.
Oh, he did a lot.
All right, what are we writing? For the what letter?
Aleph
Aleph
with a top underneath.
with a patak underneath. Of 8 like this.
With the shval underneath.
Shva underneath. Okay.
And then the fourth one from the bottom
Tell me the letter.
would be
A resh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he did start off with Alva instead of Alva.
Remember we talked about b and v.
Yeah.
We in America say Abraham,
Right.
but nobody over in Israel says Abraham. Okay.
There's Kamatz under that.
A kamatz underneath there. Okay.
Okay.
He was all wrong at first. He was,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so that's why he's all wrong. And not Al Rahim. Before he was that's but he
Okay.
was the first Jew, because that's how they got it.
Of ra
Put a command
a kamatz.
and then final mem.
That's how they have it in the book.
So it's of stop. Of ra ham. Right?
No, it just says Avram.
Abraham.
Of ra ham.
It is. Okay, I got it. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. How about his mother laughed? Whose mother laughed?
Isaac. Isaac.
Isaac's mother
But
laughed.
it's Yitzhak.
Yeah. All right. So can you find Yitzhak?
Yep, because it's right there, man.
It's a yud
A yud
with a harik,
with a harik,
zadi
a zadi
with a shana,
with a shva. Okay.
CH.
Oh, yeah.
The head.
Is it this one?
Head. It's head.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay. Yitz. Ha.
Yitzhak.
Yitzach. So we're going to get the ha sound in there. This has a lot of hard sounds, okay? So zadi like pizza, remember? Yitz. And stop. Ha. Yitzhak. It's not too hard once you say Yitzhak. It is, Yitzhak isn't too hard to say, but to separate each of those sounds is somewhat difficult. Okay? Yitzhak. All right, 2 more and we're done.
Okay.
10 Jews praying. This is another one you might know, you might not know. A minion. A minion. How are we going to spell minion?
Well, you start off with the mem, with the
A mem. Okay.
hidik underneath,
With a harik. Okay. A nun.
with the shva.
With a shva.
Yud.
A yud.
Kamatz.
With a kamatz. And a final nun. Okay. Min. Yan.
Now, why is Yon the 10 Jews praying? I don't.
What does a minion mean? That's another word that, because if we were good Jewish children, we would know a minion means a group of men. We would know it means 10 men.
You know that.
No.
I keep thinking of the minions and that.
Put her hood back on her. She wants to make it the minions from the Toy Story. Put her hood back on her. Okay? But remember, these are cognate words. So they're words that you would know that are in common everyday usage within your language, okay? So a third grader coming to Hebrew school is going to know what a minion is because she knows that the prayers can't get started until a minion is present. She or he knows that on their bar or bat mitzvah day, there's only going to be 9 people up there. Wow. Because I am called to the bima. It's me. I'm number 10. So as soon as they are bar mitzvahed, they are number 10. And from then on, they can be one of the minyan. And it is a great source of pride to be. There are 9 of them, and now we got enough because I'm here. It's a marvelous thing. Okay, how about an ice house?
Igloo.
An igloo. How are we going to say that in Hebrew?
Aleph.
An aleph. With a harik. Can you see that harik? A gimel.
With the shva underneath.
With the shva underneath.
And then the lamed, right? No, lamed.
Lamed.
Why did I say lamed?
I don't know.
That was somebody's.
Okay. And a shrek. Again, a vowel at the end because we're trying to create a sound. Igloo, igloo, igloo. Cognate words. Really a lot of fun. What's that?
Hungarian.
Oh, right.
Show at the bottom how it sounds.
Oh, let's see. Hun. What? Oh, never mind.
Oh.
Not at the moment. Jerry's trying to confuse the issue. He found in the Messianic Siddur a different style of writing a vowel. We're going to ignore him for the moment. Do we have a shva in Hungarian? Did I leave out a shva? Which one was Hungarian?
Hungarian the language that you had.
Nope. Okay. So I don't think it actually comes out Hungarian. I think it comes out Hungrit. I don't know why they chose Hungarian. Hungarin. Huh? It's a tav. Yeah, I just ran out of space. Yeah. So why they chose that word, you know, sometimes this book has just chosen things that I don't understand. So, but that's what they chose, so that's what we'll let them do. Okay, so we're going to be in Lesson 9 again next week, okay? But we should finish up Lesson 9 without any problem next week. And in a couple weeks to come, Jerry's going to do a simple explanation of things that he likes to study from, and then I'm going to do one, and we really want you to share things that you study from as well, because we can all benefit from learning from each other. So that is the end for tonight. Sorry we ran over.